it again, David said. So be it, David. In fact, I'm thinking of telling my mom about everything, Nickel said. No, 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 don't tell your mom about it. I promise not to ask for it again. You are welcome once again to Classic Tales by Dorothy. The secrets that most parents need to know. In a compound that consisted of two different apartments lived Nickel's mum and David's mum. Their homes were side by side, and their bond was very strong as neighbors. Nickel's mum was a banker and usually got back home around 9 p.m. David's mum, on the other hand, was a businesswoman with a large shop in Lagos Island. Her business took most of her time, and she had the habit of getting back home by 8 p.m. Coincidentally, the husbands of both women were civil servants at Abuja and were always visiting their families once in a month and spend 1 week before traveling back to Abuja. Nickel's mum, the banker, was very strict in her parenting style. She had a nanny living with them, and so she was able to concentrate on her job. David's mum was gentle and easygoing with her son. She rarely raised her voice on David. David's uncle was living with David and his mom, and looking after David. He had a great relationship with David. David was 15 years old. Nickel was 14 years old. David and Nickel were like siblings. They were always doing homework together and playing games around the compound. Their laughter was always echoing around the compound in joy. One day, during a casual conversation at dinner, David said to his mother, "Mum, please, I need a phone. All my classmates have phones and I feel left out." David's mum replied, her son, "A phone? David, don't you think you're too young for that?" "But Mum, I'm now a teenager, and moreover, I'm not going to use it for games. I will use it to study too," David said to his mum, his hopeful eyes staring at his mum. David's mum was not sure on the decision to take, but she decided to give his son a condition. "If you can come first in your class this term, I'll buy you a phone, but only if you deserve it." David was excited. From that day forward, he studied harder than ever. When the term ended, David achieved his goal. He came home clutching his report card and beaming with pride. He had taken the first position in his class. David's mum couldn't hide her joy. She promised her son that she would fulfill her promise. 2 days later, she bought David a sleek new phone. The phone was more advanced than David had ever imagined, and he was overjoyed. From that day on, the phone became David's favorite possession. He used it to play games, watch cartoons, and to explore the internet. Nickel, his neighbor, often joined him. They would abandon their homework, spend hours laughing at funny videos, and playing silly games. One sunny afternoon, David and Nickel sat in David's room, glued to the phone. "Let's see what else we can find on the internet," David said, scrolling through the phone. Nickel nodded, her eyes wide with curiosity. Both of them did not know that the phone would take them on a journey that would test their innocence. On a particular afternoon, while both mothers of the children were away at work, David and Nickel sat in David's room, as they often did, to do their homework. David could not concentrate on his assignment. He thereafter abandoned the assignment, changed from his school uniform, and picked up his phone. David was busy scrolling through his phone, navigating various apps and videos, while Nickel continued with her homework. All of a sudden, David paused. "What's this?" he asked, clicking on an unfamiliar icon. The screen lit up with a collection of videos. They looked very different from the cartoons and games they usually watched. David tapped on one out of curiosity, and the video began to play. It showed something strange. The adults were behaving in ways that David didn't understand. David called Nickel to join him. David and Nickel kept on watching the video, filled with curiosity. "I think it's something mummies and daddies do. I've heard some senior boys at school talk about things like this," David said. "I don't think that we should be watching this. It does not feel right," Nickel said. David refused to listen to Nickel. "It's just a video. It's not like we're doing anything bad," he said. David continued to watch the video while Nickel left him and went back to working on her school assignment. When the video ended, instead of David to close the site, he clicked on another video. "David, I've told you to stop watching those videos and concentrate on your homework," Nickel said for the second time. As the minutes passed, David's curiosity turned into fascination. He didn't fully understand what he was watching, but the mystery of the video kept his attention glued. Later, he turned to Nickel and said, "Please, let us not tell anyone about this. It's our secret." Nickel nodded, though. Something in her mind whispered to her that she should tell her mother. Nickel knew that her mother would not hesitate to take actions. As the days went by, David convinced Nickel to join him and watch the videos. Nickel hesitated at first, but when David convinced her that there was nothing wrong with them watching the videos, and that she would become one of the big girls in their school if she watched the videos, Nickel agreed with David and joined him to watch the videos. The innocent laughter that both of them used to share was replaced by whispered conversations. They also began to skip doing their homework. Funny enough, their teachers taught that it was because the children of both parents were too busy to monitor them. One day, David said something that shocked Nickel. "What about us trying to copy what they are doing in the videos?" Nickel kept quiet for a while and then responded to David, "That is not a good idea, David." "But why not?" David insisted. "If adults are doing it, that means it's not a bad thing." David continued to bring up the idea almost every day. Nickel reluctantly agreed. David put his mouth on Nickel's mouth, and his saliva entered into her mouth. Nickel felt irritated and pushed David away. "Your saliva is entering my mouth, and it's not sweet," she said. "I can't do it. Please let us stop it," Nickel said to David and walked out of the room. For some days she avoided David and refused to talk to him or even look his way. David felt terrible, especially when they saw at school. He apologized to Nickel one day on their way back home from school. Nickel hesitated before replying, "It's all right, David. Let's forget that it happened." The friendship between David and Nickel gradually returned to normal. At a point, Nickel tried to talk to her mom about the videos, but her mom was always very busy. The lady that was assigned to take care of the house was not interested in having any conversation with Nickel either. Nickel was beginning to lose concentration in her studies. Then, one day, David suggested they try to put their mouths together again. "I think we should try it again," he said to Nickel. Nickel stared at him for a while before telling him that she was not interested. "I promise you that. It will be very nice this time." Nickel became confused. She didn't want to say yes, but she didn't want to lose her friendship with David. He was the only person who genuinely had time for her. She could not bear the thought of upsetting him. She reluctantly agreed to his request. On a particular day, the driver did not show up on time to pick them from school. Nicole and David waited in the school premises till 6 p.m. David suggested that they should go to the boys' toilet and practice what was shown in the video. The school was quiet as most of the students and teachers had gone home for the day. They slipped into the school toilet. Nickel was terrified, but she wanted to please her friend. Just as David tried to put his lips on Nickel's lips, they heard footsteps of someone walking towards the toilet. They quickly stepped away from each other. They were terrified. As soon as the person went away, both David and Nickel ran out of the toilet just in time to find out that their driver was around. They were both looking very scared. When they got home that evening, both Nickel's mom and David's mom had not come back from work. As usual, there was no adult to monitor them. David suggested to Nickel that they should try it again. No, I won't try it again, Nickel said. Today my class teacher called me to her office and asked why I was not consistent with my homework. She said that she might come around to have a talk with my mom. Also, during the science class last week, the science teacher explained what happens when people who are not married engage in adults' things. So, I will not try it again, David. I will not be your friend again if you don't allow us to try it again, David said. So be it, David. In fact, I'm thinking of telling my mom about everything, Nickel said. No, 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 don't tell your mom about it. I promise not to ask for it again. At that moment, they heard David's uncle calling David's name. Nickel and David were startled. The uncle opened the door immediately. He noticed the fear on their faces. What's going on here? He asked them. Nickel responded that she needed David to solve a difficult mathematical question for her. She needed to submit it the next day at school. She thereafter picked up her books and left for her house. David's uncle was not convinced. He reported what he noticed to his elder sister, David's mom. The next day, which was a Sunday, they did not go to church, and so David's mom called her son to her room. "Sit down," David's mom said to her son. "Now tell me the truth. What have you been doing with Nickel?" David stared at his mom and replied, "Nothing, Mom." "Nothing? Okay then. I have no choice but to seize your phone until you tell me the truth." At that point, David was scared. With a trembling voice, he told his mom about the videos. He confessed their curiosity and their attempts to imitate what they had seen in the videos. David's mom was stunned. At that point, she knew that she had allowed her business to overshadow her parenting skills. She waited for her neighbor, Nickel's mom, to return from church. She then told Nickel's mom everything. When Nickel's mom regained herself from the initial shock, she started ranting and blaming David for wanting to lead Nickel astray. This is not the best time to blame anyone. Let's think about what to do. David's mom said, "It's okay, my friend." I'm now calmer. We need to get help for them. Nickel's mom suggested that the phone should be taken away from David until he's older. David's mom agreed. They also agreed that both children should have sessions with a counselor. Both mothers sat down with their children and told them that they would visit a counselor. Thereafter, the children were made to have counseling sessions with a renowned counselor, who then explained things about the videos to them. The counselor also told them the importance of prioritizing their education. A month after the counseling session, Nickel's mom resigned from her job and started a business for herself. Both mothers made a commitment to always get home early, every day. They both agreed that they were given a second chance to parent their children right. They employed lesson teachers for Nickel and David. Gradually, their grades in school started improving. David and Nickel continued being friends and classmates, but in a more healthy way. Life lessons of the story. It's extremely important for every parent to practice intentional parenting. Being an intentional parent means being deliberate and purposeful in raising your children. It's about making conscious choices that will shape their mindsets. In today's world, parenting is more complex than ever. But with intentionality, you can navigate the challenges and give your children the best possible start in life. Here are tips for parents. 1. Unconditional love and acceptance. Providing a safe and nurturing environment where they feel valued and loved. 2. Quality time and attention, spending time with them, listening to them, and engaging in activities that promote bonding. 3. Emotional support and validation, helping them develop emotional intelligence, recognizing their feelings, and teaching them to manage emotions. 4. Both parents should never be too busy at the same time and neglect their children. Cheers and stay uplifted. Thanks for watching, my amazing people. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more contents. See you in the next video.